Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not gonna do what everyone thinks I'm gonna do and just flip out on this movie, man. All I wanna know is who wants to talk about the franchise for a little bit. Mortal Kombat, my goodness, it has been around since 1992. And I was 11 in 1992 when the games hit the arcades, and I played it there. I played it when it got ported. I got played the video game. It's a franchise that over the past 28 years or so, I've looked in on. I've never really been much of a franchise type person. Like, if the movie comes out, I'll watch the movie. It's cool and anything else like that. But when it comes to, comic book lore and merchandise, merchandise, where the real money of the movie gets made. When it comes to all that shit, yeah, I'm good. I'm keeping my money in my pocket, fam. Like, entertain me for a little bit with a video game or a movie, but comics and toys and all that other fun stuff, not so much. It's not really a big collector of things. And so, yeah, I am familiar with the supposed lore of this franchise. And one of the reasons I'm not going to flip out on this movie is because 11-year-old Jay probably would have loved this, right? I mean, it's cobbled together enough with enough cool action scenes to really just make my brain forget that everything that I saw was was just mediocre and cliched. Because the reason tropes end up becoming tropes is because they're done over and over again, and you don't pick up on those tropes when you're 11 because, hey, you're new to the world. Not so new to the world anymore, guys. And for what we got, I feel as if this was a waste. This was really just a lot of wasted opportunity and a lot of wasted potential. Namely, coming from the way this story in the film was presented. Now, I don't want to sit here and bash the film at all. But when it comes to this franchise, well, let's set up some clear definitions. And by the way, yes, this is a slider video because I don't feel like dealing with copyright. Now, let's set up some definitions. As far as the lore and, what is Mortal Kombat? Mortal Kombat is a tournament that takes place once a generation where the champions of each realm, where there's Earthrealm, Netherrealm, Outworld, Edenia, and I think another realm that doesn't come to mind right now, so we're gonna skip over it. Yeah, the Elder Gods have them all fight to determine who's a champion, and if any one realm wins the tournament 10 times in a row, then that realm can basically has carte blanche to do whatever it wants. They can destroy Earthrealm or Edenia. Honestly, we're speaking in generalities here. These are just the rules as they have been most consistently presented throughout the franchise. But every piece of media involving the franchise has, its own interpretation, its own, little spin on things. And when it comes to the film that was recently released, there's been so many spins and so many different, visions of the continuity and the quote unquote continuity and quote unquote lore of this franchise that there was a lot there to make a compelling standalone, I cannot stress this enough, standalone movie around a Mortal Kombat tournament. But as we all know, that's not what they did. They created an entirely new character as a, I guess they wanted to Luke Skywalker, this cool young guy, right? Like, he is supposed to be the audience learning about Mortal Kombat and all of this stuff for the very first time, which in the context of the movie itself is stupid. Let me explain why. And it also goes on to a consistent theme throughout this franchise that Raiden, the God of Thunder, is completely useless. Now, guys, here's the thing: he's the ancestor of the baby at the beginning of the film. Now, every piece of like one of the consistencies throughout the Mortal Kombat franchise is that, hey, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, oh, they got a bang, bro. No matter what time it is, no matter where in the lore we are, somehow, some way, Sub-Zero and Scorpion need to fight. It doesn't matter. They don't care. And when it comes to this film, it seems as if they got like that out of the way first. They were like, okay, let's do two really badass scenes with Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and we'll just fart out everything else that happens in the meantime, in between time, because one of the things that this film does is bring up superpowers. Guys, you don't need superpowers in Mortal Kombat. 11-year-old Jay was more than happy to just assume that they trained really hard in their martial arts and, hey, they can make cool shit happen, right? And guess what? 38-year-old Jay is more than happy to suspend his disbelief for that. Or you could have gone like in a way that they were sort of going with Jax. Like, the thing about this film, right, is that there are a lot of nuggets, a lot of really good pieces of the lore, of the content, quote unquote lore, quote unquote continuity in this film that they completely brushed aside to make way for this OP character who, once again, because I know I stepped away from this, let's get back to that, shows how useless Raiden really is. Because at the end of the Scorpion Sub-Zero scene, the first one, there's a baby that has the mark of Mortal Kombat on it. Raiden takes that baby. Now, you cut to what we are to assume is present day, and for some strange reason, more like Raiden doesn't know Cole even exists. Like, wait, he's the ancestor. What happened in the generations between that time, Raiden? Like, how'd you lose track of this baby you had, my guy? Like, or the bloodline and the lineage of this baby you had? I mean, how long has it been? But like I said, there are consistencies throughout the franchise that are really present in this film, but get pushed aside for Cole Young, for Cole Young and his family, who honestly, God, I thought like he was playing stepdad, or it was like his like little sister or something. When the young girl was in the training room with him, I'm sitting there like, like, is that his sister? Is that his, like, saying cousin or something like that? Like, what's going on here? But no. It's his family. It's his wife and it's his daughter. He has a wife and child. That for some strange reason, Sub-Zero just now comes in and attacks to try and find Cole and kill him. But it's like in the back of my mind the entire time, I'm just like, hey, Raiden, how did you lose track of this guy? How does he not know what the tournament is? How have you not been preparing his bloodline? How have you not been making sure this dude gets laid every 3 seconds? So there's always his blood. So you got tons of champions to choose from, huh? Oh, and that's the thing, Raiden. You could have him hooking up with white chicks, black chicks, Asian chicks. You could end up with a rainbow coalition, all the diversity in the world, baby. Had you just been guiding him, my dude. But no, Raiden is utterly useless. But so when it comes to consistencies with Mortal Kombat lore in creating, because as you know, being a sub to the channel, I don't just criticize. I got my own little ways of fixing things. If you really want to know what I would do with the Mortal Kombat property if given the opportunity to, to tell a compelling story, standalone, compelling story, I would start with these two. Yeah, Liu Kang and Kung Lao. I would probably devote 15 minutes, you know, like to really setting them up, like Bo Rai Chow training Liu Kang, him learning about Mortal Kombat. Like if you want to really put the information out there and you want to get you want to do your exhibition dump, you can do it right here with Liu Kang learning about it through Bo Rai Chow and training, and him and Kung Lao meeting and becoming these like super cool bros, sort of like the Prince of Egypt and shit, because it's one of the most fascinating storylines throughout the entire series, and it's a consistent throughout the entire series. How Liu Kang and Kung Lao, like, yo, they're boys, like they're best friends. Who Kung Lao is just this arrogant dickhole who believes, like, because I am the ancestor of the great Kung Lao, I'm destined to be the champion, when it actually turns out to be Liu Kang. And despite that fact, Kung Lao, it may have happened in a piece of media that I haven't come across, but Kung Lao's never like, oh man, it should have been me. He's always like, yo, my boy, like he's happy for him. And I think that right there, like their relationship is a really strong way to set up this universe, set up this world without sequel baiting or falling into the tropes that have really overtaken the Hollywood writing these days, particularly when it comes to like the superpower thing. Really pisses me off because everything is screaming superpower, 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 superpower. Remember the Equalizer video that I did where Queen Latifah was talking about, I have a super, shut the fuck up. Rose McGowan's in there, well, because I was raised in a cult, I have a superpower. Shut up with superpowers. I don't care. Like when I hear it, it sounds so contrived now because it's like, oh, really? I couldn't think of anything better. But, but yeah, when it comes to Mortal Kombat itself, when it comes to the franchise, when it comes to the lore and the constants, once again, there's no real continuity, but there are constants here that make for good that makes for good storytelling. And I think that a standalone, once again, standalone, because if it's good, we'll ask for more. And that's another trope that's really pissing me off about modern Hollywood, is how it's always sequel baiting. It's always, oh well, we'll go get Johnny Cage in the next game or in the next film. Guys, let me tell you something about Johnny Cage. One of the reasons I absolutely love Johnny Cage is because his entire character is based around him wanting to prove that he's not a fraud and humbling himself in a lot of ways, in a lot of iterations. I mean, it's always about Johnny Cage humbling himself. He is white guilt personified, and it blows my mind because throughout this entire franchise's history, it started off super progressive. Like, you couldn't get more, particularly Mortal Kombat 2, because that's when Jax was introduced as a playable character. But it is what it is. It's okay. We'll wait till the second game. We ain't gonna have no hard feelings over that shit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta establish things first. It's cool. We'll get in there. I'm an idiot. Like, there's what was that? Man, Jax. You brought in Jax in the second game, and that's cool, and but it's like I said, the diversity, there's always been Asians, there's always been white people, there's been freaking reptiles and dark skinned women, and like when it comes to the base diversity that everyone these days is sitting there screaming, oh, where's the diversity at? This game came out in 1992 with later iterations, like later on in the 90s, before a lot of these people who are crying and complaining and bitching and moaning were even born. So, dude, what do you mean? Where's the representation? The representation's always been there for all of us. And the crazier part is that most of us don't particularly like a skin color of a character doesn't really speak to you as much as what the character goes through, or what the character themselves is feeling, or like particularly when it comes to the Johnny Cages, who's like, yo, I want to prove that I'm legit, I'm 100%, and come to find out he got Mediterranean powers. Shit gets weird, but either way, there was this franchise in and of itself, like, I have a ton of love and respect for it. Am I disappointed in the film that came out? Yes. Particularly because of this guy playing Shang Tsung. Is he supposed to be young Shang Tsung? Is this dude supposed to be young Shang Tsung? Like, why do they keep putting this guy in stuff, huh? Any reason you think they keep putting this guy in, this very particular dude, in roles that honestly could go to far more, appealing actors, Asian actors. If you gotta stick with the color coding, Asian actors. Hmm. Because he looks like that. He looks like Xi Jinping from the CCP. And like, yo, you're sitting there just stroking China's meat. Stop! Like this film itself. Like I said, I love the franchise, but this film is really everything wrong with Hollywood. From unnecessary characters, miscasting. Oh, let's not forget Jax here, who recently came out and said how Raiden. Where is he at? Oh, yeah, Raiden's up here. How Raiden was whitewashed in the first film, and I'm just sitting here like, wait, Raiden's a god. He could be whatever color he wants, right? Right? Like, I mean, like, do you really need to slap a color on a god? But apparently because it's supposed to be quote unquote Asian culture, and yes, it is very derivative of Asian culture. Mortal Kombat has always really been its own thing with its own lore. I mean, because I'm not that guy that knows of every history in the world and the like. But I do know that most of this is stuff that, like, in the 90s, they sat down in a boardroom, did copious amounts of cocaine with a K, and that K stands for kilos of cocaine, and came up with a plausible reason for what they could mold into a plausible reason for these guys to be punching each other in the face. Because at the end of the day, all of this is just to justify why video game characters are punching each other in the face. That's it. Long and short. So, oh man. So guys, with that being said, yes, this has been my Mortal Kombat special, apparently. Oh, wait. Really? You're gonna waste Goro? You're gonna have your OP character beat Goro, the champion, who has one more wind for them to be able to invade the earth? But yeah, no. We're gonna sit here and throw out Goro and have him get his ass kicked and killed by our OP unnecessary character. Pretty ridiculous, Cole Young. It was pretty ridiculous. So guys, with that being said, wow, 17 minutes. I didn't even look at the clock. With that being said, boys, all the internet stuff. If you like it, toss it a like. Dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub, if you enjoy my fantastic voice and want to get videos like this every single day, share it, because sharing is caring. And YouTube and Bitchute and like aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here for very obvious reasons. Bang the bell for notifications. Get something from Teespring. Check me out on Patreon as well. Links in the description. Actually go in the description box and do damage and speak. Let me know. What do you guys think in the comments? Yeah, Cole Young was unnecessary, but like there's a lot to be drawn from this world that Ed Boon and Tobias and a ton of cocaine created, but it's just they refuse to use it in a how do I put it, in a palatable way, particularly in live action form. You know what I'm saying? Like a way that could really just draw people in for one film and stop sequel baiting. Like, cut that shit out. People are paying. People want to see that one experience. Should be an experience in and of itself. And hey, if you like that experience, we'll have another experience in that world the next go round, as opposed to we got to go get Johnny Cage now. And it's like, yo, you wonder why Johnny Cage is missed, is because he's freaking Johnny Cage. He's an entertaining character, and the fact that, like, yo, once again, white guilt personified, guys. But you may disagree, and that's what my comment section's for. If you made it this long, God bless you, and until the next one,